but it's not in our interest. And instead of immediately establishing the necessary contact with us, as far as I'm aware of, the Turkish side contacted its NATO allies.
As far as we know, the Turkish side immediately turned to their partners from NATO
to discuss this incident, as if we downed a Turkish jet. Do they want NATO to serve the interests of ISIS? I do understand that every state have their own regional interests, and we have always respected those interests, but we will never allow to have crimes like this to happen, like the one that happened today. And certainly we hope that the international community will unite against a common evil. In this regard, we rely on the participation of all the countries in the region in this fight. And we're very happy to see you today. We will continue our work with your specialists, with security services and the defense ministry, as well as with agencies from the neighboring states. Thank you.
President Putin speaking there in response to the events. He said that the plane was shot down over an area controlled by Syrian terrorists. He said it was an air-to-air missile unit, rather than therefore a change on what initially was thought, because it was Turkey saying it was one of their warplanes shot down this Su-24, this Russian plane. But earlier on, the Russian Defense Ministry is saying no, they believe that missile had come from the air, but now from the ground. Now President Putin saying, with that latest update, they believe it was an air-to-air missile. It happened, he said, 4 kilometers from the Turkish border on the Syrian side. Earlier on, Russia said it had data to prove that as well. He said it was in northern Latakia, where militants from Russia too are located. Ilya Petrenko's in the studio with us now as our coverage continues. Tell us a little bit about these militants from Russia. Where have they come from, Ilya?
Well, you see, it is also an issue. It's a worldwide issue that touches upon Europe and Russia as well. There are regions, Muslim regions in the North Caucasus, where Islamic State recruiters have been quite active. And as far as we understand, Vladimir Putin mentioned those kind of people who got into Syria through Turkey to join the ranks of Islamic State. And apparently he was saying that it is their job, the job of the Russian army there, to combat these people there.
All right, let's go back to Firat Demir now. Firat, I hope you're still on the line, Associate Professor at the University of Oklahoma. Hi there, Firat. Can you still hear us?
Yes.
Yeah, good stuff. We broke off very briefly from a conversation we're having with you, of course, to take that live news event there. President Putin just giving a live news statement. We've heard some of what he said. I've recapped it, but equally he said as well that he considered this to be a crime and that there'd be serious consequences, as he put it now, for Turkey-Russia relations. I mean, how bad could it get?
I mean, it's already very bad. And given that Turkey and Russia was very close partners, and President Putin and President Erdogan, they were seeing each other as friends, and they had frequent meetings just a few years back till the Syrian conflict started. And I think this has been the Lipsum test for many partners in the region. The war in Syria, the role regional partners and powers are playing, particularly Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar, who sided with ISIS, or at least Sunni opposition against Assad, and the U.S. sided with them. And the Turkish joining the coalition on the U.S. side against ISIS just a few months back has been mostly used as a tool to attack on Kurds rather than on ISIS targets. Even after the bombing in Ankara, which killed more than 100 people in a peace rally, the Prime Minister of Turkey was more busy condemning and putting the blame on Kurds and Kurdish separatist groups rather than on ISIS. It took 4 days for the Turkish President Erdogan to go and lay wrath on the memories of those who got killed. And just last week, there was a major football game between Turkey and Greece, and it was well covered by the media, international press, that during the minute of silence for the death in Paris, the Turkish spectators were booing and chanting Allahu Akbar. This is not acceptable, and Turkey is playing with fire because it is having some response within Turkey. The Turkey is really divided right now. After the last month's elections, half of the country voted for the current government, half voted for the oppositions.
Firat, so many elements to this, so many political ramifications there could be. There must be some soul-searching, some questions immediately being asked behind the scenes in Europe. And it wasn't that long ago, was it, that Turkey, for many, many years, has been trying to become part of Europe, part of the European community. Just over a week ago, we saw those terrible attacks in Paris. Russia is fighting ISIL in Syria. And now we hear that a Russian plane fighting ISIL in Syria has been, in what President Putin is calling a crime, been shot down by Turkey. Must be a lot of serious questions being asked about future relations between Turkey and the rest of Europe too.
Well, I'm afraid Europe would be the last ones to ask those questions. Of course, the tragedy in France was terrible and should be condemned, but we should not be quick to forget the role France played in Syria. France is a major player, even stronger player than Turkey in Syria in supporting the opposition, the so-called moderate opposition, which according to CIA itself, there is no moderate opposition in Syria right now. Maybe there was one at some point 3 years ago. There is no moderate opposition. These are all different branches of Al-Qaeda-related extremist groups. And France has been arming and supporting, providing logistical and other support, including the United States and Turkey. And it was only a matter of time when this will start hitting home. So when you have 130,000 people killed in Iraq this year alone, this is a bigger number than the invasion of Iraq in 2003. And we have millions of people displaced in Syria, the biggest refugee crisis we have witnessed since Second World War. We are in the midst of a serious warfare globally. This is serious. So regarding Turkey and Europe and whether Europe deserves better, I really cannot say. There's no innocent parties here. They all played a role in this conflict, in this tragedy, which costed tens and hundreds of thousands of lives in the region. And Europe was silent as long as the ones who were killed were from within the region. And people like me were telling that it's only a matter of time this starts flaming Turkey and Lebanon and Europe and the rest of the world. It was only a matter of time, and this is coming back home now. These people have citizenships from these countries. They passed through Turkey to Syria. They have British passports, French passports, Belgian passports. These are not from Syria, even from any of the countries in the region.